Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today we are getting into the volume 19 of going through all your comments and answering your immigration related question. Before we start, again, I'm going to mention I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide here on this channel in these videos is directly from official sources, USCIS, state.gov, and other government websites. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the very first one from Pauline. Liverpool Thomas. Okay, what does it mean when it says that USCS is actively reviewing the case? This is since February 2022. Excellent question, Pauline. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately, actively reviewing is just a fancy word for your case is, pending. There is really no active review that is happening behind the scenes. Most likely it's just sitting on a desk somewhere and just waiting to be reviewed. It doesn't take a long time to review until it takes more time to get to reviewing this case, unfortunately. So, I've seen cases that have been actively reviewed for years, and looks like you had your case actively reviewed for the whole year now. But to give you a little bit of value with this answer, check out the USCS processing times in general. It's very simple. I have USCS.gov pulled up here, the official website for US Citizenship and Immigration Services. Just go to Tools, go to the case status, and then scroll all the way down and you will have USCS processing times information. We're gonna go to that page. Just select the form that you're filing, the category, the office where it is, and check what the normal processing times are for that particular application. And if your case is outside of normal processing times, make sure to submit the inquiry. Now, I have done the videos, separate videos, specifically on how to do that, how to check the processing times, and how to submit the inquiry. So check it out. It's uploaded on this channel. I'm gonna post this here so that your question has been answered, and hopefully I was helpful. Unfortunately, can't say really much anything else. Okay, let's move on further to Elite Boss 242. Hi, how can I go about a written statement for the I-539 extension of stay? Alright, great question. So whenever it comes to the personal statement, written statement, it's very, very straightforward. Just be professional, be polite, and really it's just a straightforward essay for the most part. You have kind of like a letter, imagine you were writing a letter to somebody. You would have from, obviously from who, from you, your information, address, phone number, to obviously USCIS, right? And then the statement itself in a standard essay form, you have the introduction. Hey, my name is this and this and this. I'm writing because I'm requesting an extension of stay. And then there goes the body, right? Where you show a few reasons, maybe just one reason, good reason, why you're requesting the extension of stay. Obviously explaining the details. Let's say, for example, if your flight was canceled or delayed, or maybe the airport was closed, or maybe there was an emergency here in the family and you have to stay and help. You're describing basically this in great detail. You're putting in the names, you're putting in the dates, you're putting in the places. So you're being very detailed, right? And you're doing it really to show that your reason is not just something like, oh yeah, whatever, I want to stay here longer, which is fine if that's the case. But obviously you want to make sure that your application is approved, right? And the more important your reason is, the more chances it will be approved. So you want to make sure that you present it right. And then closing conclusion, thank you for your review. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to stay longer here in the United States. If you have any questions, you can contact me at here. That's really it. That's all really that is needed for the written statement for really anything. Just be detailed and make sure obviously to include your own information in there. I'm gonna put this here And you know, perhaps I will make in the next couple of weeks, I'll make a video on how to write a written statement in general for USCS purposes, because I do have a separate video where I describe how to write a written statement for the asylum, because you have to be more expanded in those written statements. But for general purposes, I'll probably make another video. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Goodness Aesthetic. I filed for my spouse while I was a permanent resident, but now I am a citizen. Do I need to send a copy of my citizenship certificate to NVC, or I should hold on? Can that speed up my processing time? Okay, excellent question, and very interesting situation, because that's kind of one of those situations that wouldn't often happen, because you know usually you have 5 years of permanent residence before you get the citizenship. So most likely you filed like right at the very end of that 5 years, you know, being a permanent resident, filed for the spouse, right? And then you get the citizenship while you're waiting. Typically, you don't wait for too long whenever it comes to spouses, whether you're a permanent resident or a citizenship, because these visas, these immigrant visas, are readily available because there is no cap on these visas whenever it comes to spouses, whenever it comes to children under 21 that are unmarried, right? So in your situation, I would say it depends on how long ago you filed this I-130 petition. Let's say if it's been about 6 months, then probably most likely you don't need to worry about updating your status with USCIS, because it's been already 6 months, and that's usually the timeline for the processing of these cases where the immigrant visa is readily available. So you don't need to worry about it. But if it has been about, couple weeks, few weeks, then maybe I don't know how that would happen, but if it is the case, then maybe it is a good idea to reach out to USCS and say, hey, you know what, my status has been updated, I'm no longer a legal permanent resident, I am now a citizen, and I wanted to update my information. But chances are you probably don't need to do that, because like I said, for both, whether you're permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, whenever it comes to spouses especially, it's the immigrant visa is always available, so the processing time is about the same. And I'm going to put that here, and in fact, with that being said, I am going to show a few things here in the processing times while we have that open. We're going to click 130, we're going to click spouse, children under 21, and let's do Texas Service Center, because why not? So about 20 months for a permanent resident, and U.S. citizen, filing spouse, I would say probably about 12 months, 10 months, let's see. Okay, so about 12 months. So you see the difference is about 8 months, and again, this is for 80% of cases. Like I said, most of these cases are usually resolved within 6 months. They don't take that long. Why? Because these visas are readily available, but if you did it very, very recently, maybe you can save some time. So definitely reach out to USCS and ask them updating the actual status in the application. Okay, so let's see if I posted my response. Yes, I did. Let's move on to the next one from Jean Karina, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. Which form should I file for my wife's son? He's 7 years old. Okay, so that was on I-130 petition for alien relative. That would be the form that you would be filing. There's a petition for alien relative. So that is the right form, I-130. And I'm going to post that here. Short reply. I can't really say much anything else. Let's move on to the next one from Manasi Rabbi. Have Chad Embassy and Cameroon Embassy resumed? Which visa categories are they actually processing? How long does it take for a petition I-130 to be documentary qualified once submitting? Okay, excellent questions. I'm gonna come back to this one because this is a really, really good question, can be helpful to a lot of people. This is a very specific question. So for that, just go to, I think it's usembassy.gov. Yep, usembassy.gov. So this is the website that you need. This website, it lists all of the embassies and consulates that are around the world, US embassies, that is. So let's see, you are interested in Cameroon, for example. So we're going to scroll down, Cameroon, and that will give us the embassy that is in Cameroon. Just click on that. It will give you a separate website for the embassy in Cameroon, and that's where you will need to find your answers, about what kind of visas are being processed, if they're open or not. You might need to reach out to them, contact them, and see if they're actually open. But that's how you find that information. Now, getting to your question about the I-130 petition and being documentary qualified. Basically, documentarily qualified means that once you have submitted all the documents and once they have been reviewed, you have been qualified documentarily, but you're still waiting for your immigrant visa to actually be available. Well, not your immigrant visa, but the person who you're petitioning, the beneficiary, right? Typically, the processing of the documents usually takes about between 3 months to 6 months to get reviewed. So that process is pretty straightforward. It's pretty fast, all right? Once your documents are reviewed, you will get response either, hey, we need additional documents, or you'll say, hey, okay, you know what, we got everything, all the documents have been accepted, you're good to go, now it's just wait game. So that's usually the timeline, anywhere between 3 months and 6 months. Typically though, it's like 3-4 months. Okay, so I'm gonna mention this, that I responded, and let's move on to the next one from Aman Sandi. Vermont office, I'm a green card holder, 30 months. Okay, Aman, I'm not sure if you're just providing the information or you're asking a question. If you do have a question though, please put a question. I'm not sure, maybe you asked a question in the previous video. I'm sorry, because I get so many comments and so many questions. It's hard to kind of stay from the previous videos on that information. So Vermont office, I'm a green card holder, 30 months. Let's see. So I'm assuming that's since you're a green card holder and 30 months, you probably are talking about I-130 petition. So if you are a permanent resident and Vermont office, let's see if that's what we are getting at here. 30 months, there you go. Okay, so I found exactly what you're talking about. Yes, as you can see, so you're probably filing for spouse or child under 21. Now this number 30 months, I'm not sure how long you have been already waiting, but like I said, these there's no limitations, there is no cap on immigrant visas. So this, a lot of times your application is actually processed faster than this right here, just because these visas are available. But this right here is kind of like worst case scenario, so I really hope it doesn't take that long for you and your family. All right, let's move on to the next one from Hashar Navid. What about F4 category starting? Okay, so that was a question on Understanding Visa Bulletin, which if you haven't seen this video, definitely check it out. In this video, I'm going over the March 2023 Visa Bulletin, and we're talking about the numbers, we're talking about the categories, different charts, kind of helpful to understand the timelines whenever it comes to the issuance of the immigrant visas and why there is such a delay, such a backlog for the immigrant visas. I raised a few issues in that video, so make sure to check it out. But let's go and take a look. Let's see, I have Visa Bulletin website open right here. This is for March 2023, and every month Department of State, they issue a new Visa Bulletin, so you can check and see. Usually the numbers are the same, they don't change much, but sometimes they speed up. Sometimes they slow down though, keep that in mind. Okay, so F4 is brothers and sisters of adult US citizens. And for F4, so far, it's March 2007 for the final action dates. And for dates of filing, it's December 2007. So as of, what is it, 2023 right now, about almost March 2023. So that is delay of my math is horrible, 16 years. Wow, 16 years. So as of right now, as of this very moment, as of the most recent March release for 2023, there's a 16-year backlog for immigrant visas whenever it comes to brothers and sisters of US citizens. 16 years. So if you have filed your, let's say, your petition for your brother or your sister, I-130, back in 2020, 16 years, that means you're looking at about 2036, which is crazy numbers, I know, and I can personally relate to this. I'm waiting myself, but that's unfortunately the case. Okay, so let's move on to the next one from Forest Man. Thank you. I couldn't understand the F1 and the long wait, but now it makes sense. Great, helpful video. You're very welcome, Forest Man. Thank you for watching. I'm glad it was helpful. It was commented on Understanding Visa Bulletin. Again, check that video out. It's recent. I think I uploaded just yesterday. Okay, moving further to Trisha G. When is there any movement for F2B? Okay, well, let's take a look. We got the Visa Bulletin open here, March 2023. Now, F2B is unmarried sons and daughters, 21 years of age or older. And before I look into it, I don't know why there is such a crazy, almost like, I don't know, I don't have words for it, but unfair treatment of sons and daughters who are 21 years of age or older. I mean, okay, so you're 20 years and you can get the immigrant visa right now, and then you turn 21 and then you're waiting for what, 7 years, 8 years? This is ridiculous. So this is one of the issues that I raise in that video, in this Understanding Visa Bulletin. Why is there an immigrant visa backlog? Again, I'm going to repeat myself, but if you haven't seen this video, check it out, share it, because I am raising a few issues that Congress, US Congress, needs to address, I think, immediately, because it's quite ridiculous, honestly. But this needs to be brought to light, because a lot of people don't know it, they don't realize it, and some people even look at these numbers and they don't, because the numbers are so ridiculous, they don't believe it. But unfortunately, that is the case. That is the official information. That is the government website, and that's how long people are actually waiting. So, sorry, Trisha, I'm taking so long with my rant a little bit here, but for the F2B, unmarried sons and daughters, all right, the F2B, whenever it comes to the final action dates, it is September 2015. Whenever it comes to date of filing, it's January 2017. So you're looking at the delay of about 7 to 8 years. 7 to 8 years. So again, if you have filed, let's say back in 2020, you're looking at about 2028 when that immigrant visa becomes available for your son or your daughter who are unmarried, and you're a permanent resident. They're just over 21. This is ridiculous, but I hope I answered your question. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate. I know, Trisha, I remember you asked something before. As many questions as you have, just keep asking. This is why I run this channel. That's exactly the reason why. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Tung Tran. What category does a U.S. citizen spouse fall under? If F1 is unmarried sons and daughter, and F2A is spouse of permanent resident. Thank you for making these videos. They are very informative. You're very welcome, Tung. I'm glad these videos are helpful. So it's actually excellent question, and I don't think I mentioned it in this video that I've made. So basically, whenever it comes to U.S. citizens spouses, right, they don't fall on this visa bulletin at all anywhere. Why? Because there is no cap at all whenever it comes to to the availability of immigrant visa. So as a US citizen, once you submit the application, once it is processed on USCS side, it's immediately, as soon as this process is immediately transferred to the NVC, and immediately NVC, well, not like immediately, and we're talking about few months, right? Just normal time, how long it takes for them to get the stuff on their desk, open it up, or on their computer, open it up, review it, and respond, right? Few months, so very, very quick. Now, the only time really that you have to be kind of considering, keeping in mind, is the processing time of USCS. So I'm gonna actually show it to you because we have it open, convenient, why not? So I-130, and we're gonna do US citizen filing for a spouse, parent, child under 21, and let's do Texas, and then we'll do California or whatever, about 11 months, California, let's see, about 10 months, Nebraska, 10 months. So most cases, probably worst case scenario, about 10 to 11 months, but usually these cases are processed within like 5 to 6 months, at least from what I see. That's really the only time that you have to be kind of waiting, processed by USCS. And then obviously there is a little bit of time when USCS transferred it to NVC, but again, all of that stuff has nothing to do with visa bulletin at all, because this is where we wait. And US citizens, whenever it comes to spouses and unmarried sons and daughters under 21, there is no waiting at all. And I think it should be exactly the same way for unmarried children who are over 21, because why not? What difference does it make? But this is just me. What do I know? Okay, let's move on to the next one from Lolo Nadis. What's the timeline between NOA to NOA2? NOA1 to NOA2. So NOA1 is the first notice of action. NOA2 is the second notice of action. And most of the times, the first notice of action is, hey, we have received your case. We have accepted your application, right? And the notice of action 2 is, hopefully, hey, your case has been approved. Sometimes it's, hey, your case has been denied. That's also notice of action number 2. But hopefully we will talk about the good case scenario whenever it comes to notice of action. So whenever in this situation, it's really hard to tell. I'm assuming that you are talking about the I-130 because you're commenting on, understanding visa bulletin video, and that's where I talk about the family-based immigration. So if it's I-130, again, your best bet whenever it comes to notice of actions, we're talking about USCS here. So the best course of action for you to do is check the processing times. Obviously, form is going to be I-130. Category, whichever category you're in, who you are inviting, and then obviously the field office or service center. But again, from watching this video, you probably already know the estimation of how long these timelines take. But excellent question. I'm going to post it here to make sure I'll let you know that I've answered, and we're going to move on to the next one, and we will try to get 3 more answers. Hopefully we'll get them in the next 7 minutes. Let's get into the question from Think New. Hi, I have started my N400 application, which is application for naturalization for getting US citizenship. So congratulations on that. Online on USCS website. Can I submit this fee waiver online too, or the only way is to send it to USCS through mail? Okay, excellent question. That was commented on the fee waiver. If you haven't seen that video, check it out, because if you are applying for any kind of, if you're submitting any kind of application or petition with USCIS and you're experiencing hardship, because a lot of these applications, they're pretty expensive. So if you are experiencing hardship, you can actually, a lot of people don't know that, but you can actually file a fee waiver with that application and request USCIS to waive the fee so that your application is completely free. Now, it's not guaranteed, obviously, that your application will be approved, but in this video I describe all of the situations where you can file that fee waiver. So, great question from Think New. Let's actually take a look. We're gonna go and we're gonna navigate to the form I-912. Let's see, there's quite a lot of stuff. And there we go. This is official government USCS U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website. Here you go. I-912 request for fee waiver. And no, to answer your question, as you can see, you cannot file this form online, unfortunately, yet. I'm saying yet because USCIS, they are working right now, and that's probably would be like more of immigration news than anything. But as what it seems like, USCS is actively implementing more and more applications that you can file online. So I will not be surprised if this will be available online pretty soon. But as of right now, you actually do have to file it by mail. Okay, I'm gonna put this here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Monokpo Prince Legedu. Mine says 11.5 months, and it's past the 11.5 months, yet still nothing. The decision still has not been made. What could possibly be the reason? Okay, so that was a question on I-130. Okay, so here's my follow-up question for you, Monokpo. How much more it has been past the 11.5 months? Because if it has been about a month, I don't really, I don't recommend reaching out to USCS, filing the inquiry. Most likely it's just going to be a waste of time. And you will see that whenever it comes to the processing time, I'm going to go back and we're going to select, I'll show you something so that it doesn't really matter which one it is. But you will notice that it's 80% of the cases. And that really kind of gives the disclaimer to the person who files the application, saying that, hey, you know what, your case might be in the 20% that is taking longer. And usually those cases take about, couple months, 2 months, maybe 3 months over this processing time. So if it has been only a month or two over the delay, don't even bother doing anything. But if it has been more than 3 months past this, I would definitely recommend you reaching out, filing the inquiry with USCS, just to kind of nudge them a little bit and say, hey guys, my case has been delayed. So I'm gonna post the response here. And yes, if you don't mind, please let us know how long it's been past this 11.5 months already. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Muad Zaim. Hello, thank you for sharing this, please. I got released from detention parole. How I can get back my passport from ICE? Also, I don't have I-94. I need it for SSN, Social Security number, and DMV. I can't download it online because they write no record. I'm in California, Sacramento. Okay, Muad, so whenever it comes to your documents that you had with ICE, that would be ICE that you would need to reach out to. And if I'm correct, ICE is just ice.gov. Yes, it is ice.gov. This is the official government website for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's what ICE stands for. Reach out to them. You can find their contact information here on this website and try to figure out how to get the passport back. Whenever it comes to the I-94, I've done a separate video how to pull up that I-94. If it's not coming up, if that I-94 is not coming up, you will have to reach out to the Customs and Border Protection in order to obtain that I-94. Now, I am not 100% sure, because I don't live in California, about what is required in DMV and Social Security Administration whenever it comes to the I-94 specifically, because a lot of times whenever it comes to I-94, usually it is for immigration purposes. It's not for, any kind of documents like driver's license or anything like that. But again, that kind of stuff, because DMV is a state, it can be different. It can be different. So I'm gonna place this. And if you have any follow-up questions, definitely let me know. I would be happy to address that as well. Okay, let's move on to the very last comment question that we're going to address in this video, because it's already getting into 30 minutes. So it's not too long. From Marie Mar Gomez. Thank you. My I-539 case is complicated. I had to file I-290B to open my case again, and now my portal shows an I-539N case, and I couldn't find anything on the USCIS website about it. Okay, the truth is that I need legal help, but I can't find a lawyer to represent me dealing with this case. Thank you so much for your help. Okay, Marie, you're very welcome. I remember now your question about the I-539N. And I was doing research actually later on that, and I did not find anything at all on I-539N. So I'm gonna clear up a few things for anybody who's watching still. If you're stuck around all this time and watching this podcast, I really appreciate you and your time. But I-290B is basically an appeal to reopen the case. So I'm not sure why you had to do that. I'm assuming obviously your I-539 didn't go as planned and it was denied, or something happened and now you had to reopen it and appeal for reopen at least. So I'm thinking that I-539N classification might be internal, that is used by USCS, so because it was initially denied. With that being said, I definitely highly recommend you finding legal help whenever it comes to handling cases like this. Anything with appeals, I definitely recommend at least going through a consultation with an attorney, because you want to make sure that the initial reason why your application was denied, that you do not repeat the same mistake, and you actually address it, you fix it, and then you file your appeal, and then it's reviewed, and now it is approved. So with that being said, I've done a video where I talk about how to find the good immigration attorney, a few things that you want to look for, like free consultation, like someone who is gonna describe you the process during this free consultation completely. All the cards open in front of you, right? They will tell you how much it's going to cost if they are taking the case. They will tell you approximately how long it's going to take, what's the worst that can happen, what's the best, obviously, that can happen. No secrets, right? No like, oh yeah, you will have to hire me before you find out. Nothing like this. Everything open, completely transparent. And a few other tips. So make sure to check that video out. But also keep in mind that if you cannot afford an immigration attorney, because most of the times that stuff is pretty expensive, attorneys are pretty expensive, there are other options. There are pro bono immigration attorneys, those who do handle cases, immigration cases, for really, really cheap, or sometimes even for free, and they do it for to build up whatever experience, practice, if they're working for a non-profit organization. There are non-profit organizations that offer free immigration help. There are legal practitioners, immigration practitioners in your area. Just search for find immigration attorney near me, and then the whole list. Just call them, ask who has the free consultation, and have that free consultation with all of them, and then try to find free immigration practitioners in my area, stuff like that, and then just call and ask for opinions. Also, there are a few websites where you can post your question and get a response from an actual attorney, like avvo.com. But though most of the times the responses that you get from attorneys they're very very plain and not very informative. But try it out. And actually, I'm gonna address the next question as well in this video, because yeah, there you go. We got 3 questions, 3 comments from the same person, from Veronica Martin. So I'm gonna address that as well in this video. Where's the volume 16? Okay, so the volume 16 is uploaded. It is on this channel. Just go to the main page, the homepage of this channel, and you will see like the second or third row, it says answering your immigration questions, volumes or whatever, something like this, podcast. And the volume 16 is in there. So I'm going to post this here. My case is F3. So F3, whenever it comes to F3, that is the married sons and daughters of US citizens. And that's F3 is the category. And currently it's November 2008 for the final action dates, and for dates for filing it's 2009 November. So it's just about a year, which sounds actually pretty accurate to have the year between the final action dates and dates for filing. But with that being said, we're looking at 2008, and right now it is 2023, so there is a 15 years delay. I think, wow, that is crazy. 15 years delay for sons and daughters. So yeah, see, I get into the complaining mode. It's ridiculous. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't realize how long the wait times are, even for U.S. citizens inviting their family members. But that's the case, and unfortunately, that is the case because U.S. Congress, they capped, not capped, but put a cap on the amount of immigrant visas that are issued. Okay, so the very last from Veronica, we're gonna address that. My case was approved February 2011, and I'm still waiting for the welcome letter. No one is answering my letter, and I can't get them with the email, and I don't know where my case is. Don't know what to do. I need some answers. Thank you. Okay, Veronica, you're very welcome. I'm very sorry you're going through this. So your case has been already approved. That is a good thing. February 2011. So it's already been done completely on the USCS side. Now we're just waiting for the visa. Now, usually whenever it comes to the NVC and the welcome letter from NVC, usually whenever that, whenever the timeline is within a few months, you get that welcome letter. So 2011, and right now they're processing 2008. So it's 3 years, right? So you got about 3 more years. So you should be getting that welcome letter within the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years, because that's what, according to this at least visa bulletin is. Now there's of course everything might speed up in the next couple years. There is possibility that it will slow down, but this is where you would do that. Another thing I would recommend, if you do want to reach out, because there is no point for you to reach out to USCS, because USCS, they actually already there we go. They already approved your case. But you can reach out to the Department of State by submitting the public inquiry form, and if I don't forget, I'll put the link in the description below. But you can find it on their website, which is travel.state.gov. And I actually done a separate video on if the NVC case is taking long, how to submit that public inquiry. Here it is. It's just an online form where you fill out your NVC case, your applicant's name, your own name, you're the applicant, date of birth, petitioner's full name, who you are, your email address, and then your inquiry. Obviously you can put the attachment with the screenshot, but that would be the best course of action to do. Again, with your case, like I said, because you still have about 3 years in front of you in line for that immigrant visa to be available, you probably don't need to worry about much. But just in case, to kind of follow up and stay on top of everything, this public inquiry form might be helpful. So thank you everyone for sticking around to this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below, and I will be addressing them in one of these videos. Thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.